Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ryan in Singapore. Welcome to our mindfulness practice. Today's topic is non-striving. And yesterday, or 2 days ago, we were talking about non-judging. And right before I got on this live event, as I was kind of looking through my notes on non-striving, I was kind of thinking to myself, well, what's the difference between non-judging and non-striving? Because there is some linkage there, and that non-judging is really about noticing how our mind is viewing something, right? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it neutral? What's our opinion about what's going on? And observing that, and that's what non-striving is. Non-judging is kind of like the next step, in that we see what's going on in our minds. We see that this is something that we dislike, for example, and we don't have to change it immediately, right? And this is what non-striving is about. So non-judging is seeing, here's something that's going on that I'm not so happy about, and maybe as we recognize that, there's also thoughts that are involved with this that says, because I don't like this, and this needs to change immediately. Whereas, so then when we add this layer of non-striving onto it, it's, okay, this is what's here right now. I don't like it, and I don't have to change it immediately because this is what's here. And I think that's really one of the things that we kind of tend to forget as we want things to be different, is that we see things as they are and say, hey, I need to change this immediately. And so, the lesson of impermanence is that things are always changing. So whatever state that you're in, whatever mind state, whatever emotional state, whatever physical state you're in, will not be the same tomorrow. 1 minute from now, things are going to be different. 10 minutes from now, things are going to be different. Whatever that overwhelming emotion or thought is, or even physical sensation, it's going to change, and you don't have to try to make it change because it's going to change all by itself. This is kind of the law of impermanence. And so that's kind of what's at the core of non-striving. So non-striving goes hand in hand with non-judging. In that non-judging, we see things as they are. We see our preferences. We see what we want. And non-striving is saying, I see this and I don't have to do anything about it. And I think that's really what's at the core of non-striving. And it's kind of important to have that bit of understanding as we go into it. And so what we may think what we may think striving is if I push harder, I'll finally become that version of myself that I'm supposed to be. If I keep pushing myself more and more, I'll finally transform into that me that this idealized version of me. And then this is the other thing about impermanence, right? Is that there's maybe some kind of false belief that once this is achieved, it's going to be there forever. I finally made it. I've finally turned into perfect Ryan. So now that I'm going to be perfect forever, right? I think this is also a lot of this mindfulness practice comes out of Buddhism, and I think this is also a false belief that a lot of Buddhists have, is that once I finally achieve enlightenment, right? Once I've got enlightenment, then I'm set for the rest of my life. I made it. I made the goal, and the truth about impermanence is that whatever special state you have achieved, it's not going to stick around. So, that's the other thing. So as much as we work, and I think that's important to note about non-striving, is it doesn't mean that we stop doing anything. It doesn't mean that we, become lazy, or stop having goals, or stop hoping to be a better version of ourselves, or stop hoping that our situation is going to change in the future, that we don't have any control or any ability to affect the things around us. It's not that. It's, again, mindfulness is paying attention on purpose in the present moment, non-judgmentally, right? On purpose in the present moment. Like, this is what's here now, right? It is about the present moment. That's what non-striving is about. It's about seeing that this is exactly what's going on right here, right now, and knowing that whatever this mental state is, whatever this physical state is, whatever my emotional state is, it's possible to accept that it's here, to let go of the desire to change it, right? To cite two of the other attitudes of mindfulness, right? This is what's here now. A lot of us will go, hey, I'm anxious, right? I'm anxious. I need to fix my anxiety. My anxiety's here. I need to be different from this. I can't stand this feeling. It's got to be different from this, right? It's non-striving is the opposite of that. If my meditation was working, my mind would be quiet, we may say to ourselves, right? Non-striving is accepting and letting things be as they are. And so, this is what's, trusting that the body is doing what it's supposed to be doing. All of these attitudes go together. And I think non-striving is a great way to kind of weave them together. So non-striving doesn't mean doing nothing. It doesn't mean giving up on our goals. It doesn't mean becoming indifferent. What it does mean is letting this moment be as it is. Letting you be as you are for now. And then acting from clarity instead of from the conflict that we have inside of ourselves. So this is how it is right now. So here, I'm just going to paste this quote into the chat. So this is how it is right now. I don't have to like it, but I will stop arguing with the fact that it's here. This is how it is right now. I do not have to like it, but I will stop arguing with the fact that it's here. So that's kind of a powerful quote to let you ease into what is, instead of pushing against and trying immediately to fix what it is that's going on. So, how does striving show up in meditation? Common thoughts that we may have in our meditation practice is, I shouldn't be thinking so much, like raise your hand if any of these sound familiar, I should not be thinking so much. My mind is too busy. I'm bad at this. I need to get back to that really peaceful state that I once found in my meditation. I'm doing this wrong, or I need to get to sleep. How can I not, why am I still awake? I need to go to sleep. So what happens when we believe these is that the body tightens, the breath becomes shallow, we feel like we're failing at meditation, and this whole thing becomes another self-improvement project, right? Is it possible to ease into what is without trying to force things to be the way that the idealized version of what we think things should be? So the key difference is that in non-striving, we're not trying to produce the special state, right? We're not trying to be different from how we are. The job is to simply be aware of what is happening. And I think that's really interesting because I just see this linkage between non-striving and non-judging, right? We see our labeling. We see things. We see ourselves saying, hey, this is bad. I don't want this. This is bad. I want this to be different from how it is. This is good. I want this to last forever because it's so amazing, right? So non-striving is more of the first part, is that when things are bad, wanting things to be different from how they are immediately. I can't stand this state. I can't stand what's happening. I can't stand my grieving. Gosh, when will this feeling of grief finally be over? And what can I do to change it? right? I like to use grief as an example, because grief is one of those things that really requires a lot of, attitude number 2, patience. And here, non-striving, attitude number 5. So these two things, it's going to be this way for a while. And can I ease into that instead of trying to change it? So non-striving and non-judging are kind of like twins. When the judging softens, the pushing often softens too. So let's just a couple real world examples. Hang on, let's see. Hi, Robin. Well, welcome everybody. Hi, Blossom Violet. I see you there too. It's great having you here today. Blossom Violet's another teacher here on Insight Timer who does piano music, inspired piano music. Ni hao. It's great having you here. But yeah, so I'm just going to go into some real world examples. So one that we've been using a lot is procrastination. So it's one that I know for a fact at least one person on here can relate to. I certainly can relate to it. So procrastination says something. So the striving mind says something like this: I must stop procrastinating. This is ridiculous. I should already be done. And what happens is we feel shame, we freeze, we get distracted, we try to avoid what it is that we're doing so that we can avoid and escape from those unpleasant feelings that we have around our own procrastination. I mean, I guess that's the irony of procrastination, is that procrastination itself creates this kind of shame and anxiety and causes us to want to look away from it, which actually kind of reinforces the procrastination. The non-striving mind, on the other hand, says, right now, avoidance is here. My body feels heavy. My mind wants to escape. Can I be honest about that without attacking myself? And then from there, we can choose one tiny step instead of fighting against the whole mountain of whatever it is we're resisting. So how about the body, right? A lot of people joining, I know, have chronic pain and chronic issues with your body. And so striving says, my body should not feel like this. I have to get rid of this. I need this pain to go away right now. Whereas non-striving says, this is how my body feels right now. What is one kind thing I can do for it today? Right? And so again, this isn't about passive surrender, like this is just how things are. Is there some kindness that I can offer to myself to make the situation have greater ease? And again, it's not about forcing, it's about easing into what it is that's going on. Here's a relationship example. They must change so I can feel better. Non-striving says, this is how they are showing up today. This is how I'm reacting to how they're showing up today. What is in my control right now? What is not? So non-striving doesn't stop change. It clears the static so wisdom can see what actually needs to change. Okay, non-striving does not stop change. It clears static so wisdom can see what actually needs to change. And really, this is something I see about non-striving, is it's really about the present moment. It's really about like this moment. There's something wrong with this moment. Something about this moment needs to be fixed and isn't right as it is. So it's really not about looking into the future and like letting go of the desire for things to be different. It's easing into what is going on right here and right now. The paradox of ease and of wanting to feel comfortable and wanting to feel at ease is that the more we try to force calm, the more agitated we feel. The more we try to force sleep, the more awake we become. The more we try to force insight, force enlightenment, the more tangled our thinking becomes. So, and I'll tell you, that's something that I've achieved in my meditation practice. I have achieved. I like this word because it feels so striving. Achieved a state of extreme peace, right? Those moments when it's just me and my breath, and the thinking has dissipated into the background, into nothingness, and there's just this, the I, me, and mine is gone, and it's just this beautiful state of ease. But the more when that happens, there's a part of me that next time I meditate, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna get back to that. Like, that was awesome. I gotta get back to that special place because it felt so great. I'm gonna do it. This time I'm gonna do it. And that was me early on in my meditation practice. I'd sit for 20 minutes, and then I'm like, man, I'm not getting that feeling. Oh, let me sit for 30 minutes. Okay. Oh, okay. It's happening, but okay. Oh, but it's getting farther away. Let me sit for 40 minutes. Let me sit for 50 minutes. Let me sit for an hour. And my meditation was all about chasing that feeling. And the more that I chased the calm, the farther and farther it got away. It was kind of like the calm was that reward as the young meditator, as the early meditator, like, hey, look, this is possible. But then the chasing of that made it impossible to get. And that was the other thing I'll just kind of share with that feeling of peace and that state of peace, was that the moment that my mind came in and had some commentary and said, like, this is awesome, right? Like, this is great. This is fantastic. Woo. My mind comes in and starts to cheer about what's going on. That's when it all just shatters. And so that's really interesting about how that works. But you can't get there. I mean, I guess that's the irony, is that you can't get there by trying to get there. The only way to get there is by, follow the process, and let ease come as it comes. The more you try to get there, the farther and farther it gets away. And I think that goes for more than just, obviously more than just meditation. Forcing calm, forcing ease in the body. Oh my gosh, this tightness in my shoulders, it needs to go away. It's like, oh, that just kind of reinforces that. The more I want to sleep, the harder it is to get to sleep. On retreat, the deepest moments often come after you've stopped waiting for something special to happen. So I'm just waiting and waiting. When's the special thing going to happen? Oh, and then it turns out when I finally stop, when I finally go, okay, whatever, this is just how it is, that's when the special moment arrives. So non-striving lets these moments arrive on their own time. All right, let's go ahead and let's get into our practice now. Wait, the Blossom Violet says, the more we try, the more we put energy into the thoughts and stories. Thanks for sharing. All right, let's get into our practice. So get comfortable. And so the theme of the practice is non-striving. And so what I'm going to invite you to do today is to kind of couple it with non-judging. So notice when judging comes up. That's step one. So what are the thoughts that may be showing up around judging? And step two is to just try your best to be okay with that, right? So, okay, we're meditating. So let's go ahead. I'll just go ahead and start guiding you into practice, and then give you instructions as to what to do. So notice the sensations of the body being here, the scalp, the forehead, the eyebrows. Just notice, is there any tension here? So if you do notice tension, just notice it. You don't have to make it go away. And sometimes, just by noticing it, it goes away all by itself, right? And if you notice it and you hope that it starts to go away all by itself, that might make it stay longer. So just see if you can notice. That's all you have to do. That's what the mindfulness practice is. Being aware. Notice if the forehead, the eyebrows, the scalp are tight. Notice the eyes and the muscles around the eyes. Notice the cheeks, the ears. Notice the mouth, the lips, the teeth, the tongue. Are the teeth touching each other? Are the bottom teeth in contact with the top teeth? Sometimes we'll clench our teeth if that's the case. Just one way that you can ensure that you don't clench your teeth is just have a very slight gap between the bottom teeth and the top teeth. You can keep your lips closed, breathing through the nostrils if your nose is clear enough to do so today. Noticing the feeling of breath in the nostrils. And now noticing, is the breath long? Is the breath short? Is the breath shallow? Is the breath deep? Is the breath labored? Or is the breath at ease? There's so much information in the breath. So let's just take a few moments to hold attention here at the breath at the nostrils, feeling air moving in and out of the nostrils. And as you notice the breath at the nostrils, can you allow your body, can you trust your body to breathe? Can you let go of your own desire to breathe in a certain way? This is a common challenge that a lot of beginning meditators have, is that as I'm watching my breath, I can't help it. I can't help but take control of my breath. I make my breath longer. I make my breath deeper or whatever. And so that's really the challenge of non-striving and how you can use it directly in your meditation practice. Right now, see what it's like to observe the breath without getting involved. And then if you find yourself subconsciously getting involved, are you judging yourself? Oh my gosh, I'm taking control of my breath at some level. There's so much here. This is such a rich place to practice. So I'm going to stop talking for a few minutes and just invite you to do your best to observe everything that's going on with the breath at the nostrils. And now let me invite you to shift your attention to the rest of your body. Just noticing what's at ease and what's not at ease. Are the shoulders relaxed? Is the back relaxed? Is the chest relaxed? Is the belly relaxed? So you'll notice this is one big difference between something like yoga nidra and mindfulness meditation. Is the yoga nidra, I'm saying, relax your shoulders. And mindfulness is, are your shoulders relaxed? And if not, you don't have to force them to be relaxed. In fact, forcing them to be relaxed will cause more tension. Just be as you are. Just notice, maybe through following the breath and observing the body, ease comes more and more. Maybe that's possible. Don't worry if it doesn't happen. There is no special state to achieve here. If your intention is to stay focused in the present moment, on the body, on the breath, it could be even on sounds, you are meditating. You can give yourself credit for successfully meditating. You don't have to have a clear mind. So what is the breath doing? Are you still at the nostrils? Are you still following your breath? Maybe the belly is a better place for you. It's a place that I've used for many years, especially as I'm feeling out of practice. For some reason, that feels like the comfortable, easy go-to place. Like the nostrils are the more challenging place for me anyway. So just find an area where you can monitor the breath. And just check in. Hey, is this breath shallow? Is this breath deep? Is this breath long? Is this breath short? Is this breath labored? Is this breath easeful? So pay attention with this super high quality degree of awareness as best you can to what it feels like, what's going on with the breath right now. And so just to use comparison to help you see where you are, what was the breath like 5 minutes ago? What's the breath like now? Can you notice? Can you take note of what is different between then and now? And part of striving is also the desire to escape what's going on right now. So sometimes these meditations feel long and we go, oh man, when is it going to be over? It's going to be over in about 3.5 minutes. So stick with it as best you can. And see if you can ease into this moment. Don't worry about the future. Just worry about right now. So now what's the breath like? What has changed? Maybe the beginning was tense and then we went some ease and now we're tense again, just seeing moment by moment how things are changing. Okay, so pay attention to your body. Now I'm going to tell you it's time to draw our practice to its close. And as I do, what happens? What happens in the body? What happens in the breath? So I'm going to end practice with 3 rings of the bell, and then you can slowly transition out of your meditation posture and transition into the rest of your life. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for being here with me today. Thanks for making this time for yourself. This is a good opportunity for you to thank yourself for cultivating non-striving, non-judging, and everything else that we learn in this meditation practice that we can bring into our everyday lives. So congratulations on having done it. It's pretty funny. I guess you probably heard in the middle of, or at the end, my eldest son walked in, and it's like, because my kids are still jet lagged, right? And so he walks in and he's like, not usually getting up at this time, and he's paused. I could hear. I didn't see him. I could just hear him. He paused, and then he went, "Oh," and then he turned around and he left. So, I just kind of thought. I thought myself. I'm like, what went through his mind in those few moments? Feeling so peaceful. Thanks, Blossom Violet. And how's everybody else? How did your practice go? What did you notice? Did you notice things changing moment by moment? Did you notice your striving? Did you notice your judging? Did you notice the change in your breath? What happened? Please feel free to tell me in the chat. Tell all of us in the chat. Here, I'm going to post well, first I'll put in my follow card. So if you don't follow me on Insight Timer, that is really the very first easiest thing you can do to help me out as an Insight Timer teacher, is to follow me. That's the easy. That's just to press the button. Boop boop boop, and then that helps. Rosamund says, "Astonishing, you've dealt with exactly the questions I've been thinking about all week. All your examples of what can happen apply to me." Thanks so much, Rosamund. I'm so happy to hear that. That's great. Didn't notice my son. It was. I mean, for me, I can't help but smile on the inside, and also notice that there's a little bit of tightness and a little bit of heat and pressure, because I don't know. These live events do have a little bit of pressure. Although, I've been doing it for over 5 years, so a lot less pressure than in the beginning. But, let's just say, there is a desire for things to go a certain way during these live events. I want things to be structured because, I've got it was 64 people watching or something, right? So, it's like, I want this to be, I want this to go a certain way. I guess that's natural. And so I can see that. I can see those feelings coming up when things start to go in a way that's not exactly how I hoped it would. But it was great. I don't know. Of course I love my kids, and it's, it's kind of cute when he walks in and then he goes, "Oh," and then he turns around and leaves, right? Thanks, Caesar. Felt like body melting into space and became one with everything everywhere. Thanks, Blossom Violet, for sharing. That sounds great. Caesar says, "My breathing changed multiple times." I heard your son say "oh" in a gentle voice. It just seems sweet. Thanks. Yeah, it was. It was really sweet. Okay, I'll post my course up here one more time. Hope you'll give it a try. And yeah, that felt my body melting into space and become one with everything everywhere. That's kind of like, that's one of those special things that doesn't happen to me very often in my meditations anymore. So it's something that, like I said, I used to chase it. I used to strive. I used to want that feeling. And now I just, have to accept that maybe it's going to show up on retreat. Who knows? Maybe it'll show up in my regular daily practice. I don't know. It hasn't in a long time. Maybe now's the time it's going to show up because I finally let go of the desire for it to come. So maybe today's the day. Maybe in my practice, that's it. But just because I've said maybe today's the day almost guarantees that today's not going to be the day. So maybe tomorrow. Maybe I should just stop altogether trying to guess when the next time I'm going to feel that peaceful feeling is and just let it come whenever it comes. Thanks everybody for being here. Paying attention to the breath tends to make me start breathing unnaturally, not by controlling it. You tense up and forget how to do it. Yeah, it's so funny, right? It's something that's so natural that you've been doing ever since you were born. Rachel, thanks for sharing that. I finished your course. It raised some questions that I answered. It's great to have the one-on-one at the end of each session. I love it. I really love it. I think it just feels so good to connect with you guys in that way. So I guess that's the other reason to plug the course too. Thanks so much. All right, I gotta go. It's school time for everybody, and time for me to get rolling in my day. So let's close our practice how we do with some well wishes, and I'll see you next time. Next time, let's see. We're gonna hit one of the other 9 attitudes. Next time it is gratitude. So gratitude and generosity will be the events that we'll do next week. So, okay. Thanks so much. Yeah, he was here earlier. Before I started the live event, Frank came in as I was prepping, and then I went to to put some more water, hot water in my tea, and then when I came back, he's gone. He's like, I'm out. No more of this for me. Okay, all right. Well wishes time. May I be happy and peaceful. May everyone watching, listening, wherever you are, I wish you all happiness and peace. May all sentient life, everyone, everywhere, may we all be happy and peaceful. Take care, everybody. See you on my Tuesday, maybe your Monday night. But if you're in Australia, it's Tuesday morning. Also, if you're in Western Hemisphere, it might be Monday night. Until then, bye-bye.